Hey Paul, this is Brian. I figured it'd actually be easier to do a little video than try to do a bunch of typing kind of stuff. And I know strike ranks can be very confusing, especially with the differences that can occur with initial strike ranks. Excuse me. The way I run things and how they have it laid out in the big book is that the first phase of combat is statement of intent. That's where your players tell you, I'm going to shoot at the troll unless the giant beetles move to engage Illyria, something like that, right? Or I'm going to move forward and attack him. That can be that simple as well. But they can give different options. They don't have to tie down. Now, one of the things I do is if they change their intent during the round, I throw in that extra 5 strike ranks. You're changing your intent. Attention is changed. It takes time. So give yourself a couple of options. So if you go to kill troll A, but he gets killed because of player B, you're not losing a turn, right? Anyway, so statement of intent. This is what I want to do, A, B, and C. And then I have my players, and I've got a couple players who are really rough with strike ranks, and we'll work that out together. But I have the players work out their strike rank for the things that they're doing. For example, they're walking out through a cavern, some kind of troll hole or something, right? So fighter A's got his shield out, but he's holding a torch, so he doesn't have his sword out, right? They come around a bend, and there's a troll and a few trollkin back there. They see them. They're moving to engage. He drops the torch, draws his sword. That takes 5 strike ranks. He's going to cast Blade Sharp on his sword, Blade Sharp 2. That's going to take his Dex strike rank plus the 2 magic points, and his Dex strike rank's probably 3. So that puts us at strike rank 10 when he casts his spell. Then he can move forward for 2 strike ranks, or you can combine drawing the weapon and movement, which give him 5 strike ranks of movement. I won't let him run though. I won't give him the 3. I just do 1, but that's my own house rule kind of stuff anyway. So draws his dropping the torch doesn't take anything. Drawing the sword takes 5. Casting the Blade Sharp takes 5 more, the 3 of his Dex strike rank plus the 2 for the magic points. So on 10, he rolls his power times 5 to see if the spell goes off. And he's got his weapon out, and he can attack if a troll. Well, he can't attack, but he can certainly defend. He can parry anytime after strike rank 5. He's got strike rank 5 is to get this. I didn't push 10 on that. Can you parry while you're casting a spell? I don't know. I have to look that up. Anyway. Right, so we're 10. He can't do anything for 2 strike ranks unless he moves or something, and so his round is done. Now, a kind of quirky thing with that is fighter B has a bow, a composite bow, so he's got an arrow that's knocked. Right, it's on the string. He's holding it with one hand, so he doesn't have any prep time for his bow. He just draws and fires. So that's his Dex strike rank, which is the SMR, in the books when they talk about that kind of stuff. That's what that means. Your Dex and strike ranks. So he's got strike rank 3. His Dex strike rank is 3. So on strike rank 3, he'd be able to fire. It takes 5 more strike ranks to draw an arrow. So strike rank 8, it takes 3 strike ranks to draw and fire. 9, 10, 11. So he'd be able to fire on 3 on 3 and 11 twice around. Now when you get guys who are really fast with a Dex strike rank of like 1, it's crazy. But there's no way to actually get 3 arrows around, just 2. That's the max. But they're at different parts of the strike ranks, different strike ranks during the round. I mentioned you can combine movement and drawing, that kind of thing. Magical strike ranks are your Dex strike rank plus the magic points used in the spell. Movement takes strike ranks, but you can combine that sometimes with other things. You may want to allow people to do casting time and move at the same time. That's your choice. Okay, just straight up. Okay, they've all been engaged, so we're just doing hack and slash, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Your weapon strike rank is your dex strike rank, 3 for our guy, plus his size strike rank, which is about usually is 2, plus the weapons strike rank, which is usually 2 or 3. That's about the 1 meter range. A little shorter is 3, a little much longer would be 1. So there's only 2, maybe 3. It's a short sword. Dagger's like 4, that kind of thing. Punching is a 4. But like a spear can be 1 or even 0 with like a pike. So all those things get added together. On the character sheets in the quick start, that's already all calculated out on the little combat chart thing. Although I want to say there are some errors. But since you don't necessarily have the rules for that, you won't know what they are. But that's the idea: is a weapon chart on the back of the on the character sheet. It says, you know, it says broadsword. It's got a percentage that he's with both attack and parry. It's got the armor points of the weapon, and then the strike rank with that weapon for that person. So our guy is what 2 and 3 is 5 and 2 is 7. So strike rank 7. Once they're doing back to back, there's no real changes. Strike rank 7 is when he goes off. Strike rank 7 is when he goes off. Strike rank 7 is when he goes off. That's when he rolls the dice. One other thing is when you're not engaged, they call it outside of melee. I call it disengaged. When they're, you know, not fighting, that kind of thing, they're out away from everybody. They can do multiple things. That's usually is most commonly involved with casting sorcery or some really hefty spirit magic spell. Because all the things you have to do get added on and added on and added on. The example they give in the blue book is that your casting a sorcery spell takes 37 strike ranks to go off, based upon, you know, the magic points being cast and boosting and, you know, all this other stuff. So 36 strike ranks is 3 full rounds, 3 full strike melee rounds, 3 full melee rounds. That 37th strike rank is strike rank 1 on the 4th round. So that's when his spell will go off. We used to meddle with, you know, guys in the back shooting arrows and moving around. So sometimes things would cycle around, but generally it doesn't. When you hit strike rank 12, things are done. Okay. There's a thing about casting spells, and there's a disconnect in the language. Essentially, the combat is designed so you can generally only attack once in a round. Now, with a bow, if you're fast, you can get 2. But with a sword, if you're fast and you're over 100%, you can split attacks, and that's something else entirely. But like the first example, drawing your sword, casting a spell, moving to attack. Multiple things in the combat round. You add strike ranks up. Now, there's this deal about you can only attack once in a round. So if you are casting Befuddle or Demoralize or some kind of attack spell, even though dex rank 3, 1 or 2 points, you're done at 5, maybe you could do that again. If you're really fast, you might be able to. But there's a rule about if you're casting a spell again in a round, even if it's the same one, you need to prepare, which takes the 5 strike ranks. So if you're doing, you know, 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 5 is 10, 3 plus 2 is, you know, 15. It's not going to happen. But what about buffing spells? That's something that in my game we're playing with. If I'm going to buff, I can cast multiple spells around. Well, it's gotta be fast and it's gotta be low impact spells, especially if you have that 5 strike rank set. That'd be just 2. So it's kind of odd. But anyway, we've gone on for 10 minutes now. Apologies for taking so long and a little disjointed, but I'm going to go ahead and link in here one of my early combats where we're going strike rank by strike rank, statements of intent, and that kind of thing. It's a really long video because, like, it's a live play on my game. But I'll see if I can't chop that someplace small so it hooks in. In fact, I may have to do that later. But I went ahead and get this in, and I'll go ahead and send this to you. So if you got any questions, reply back to it or in the Facebook post, that kind of thing. Happy gaming.